Let's talk short bunker shots. It's a really tough shot to play actually, especially if we've got a high lip to go over. Now, I know what you're thinking, I haven't got a high lip to go over here, but use your imagination. I'm going to try and play this shot as high as I can to recreate the shot that sometimes players really struggle with. Now, making sure that we've got into the right setup and we make sure we have the right technique is super important to these shots. Now, I know you've heard all of these videos before and you've probably scrolled through quite a lot of them. I'm really hoping you stay around for this one because I'm going to show you how this is done in the easiest way possible. Now, first things first is setup. All right, so I've got a tour stick here, an alignment stick on my ball to target line, pointing straight at my flag over here. Now, I've also got my 58-degree lob wedge. Okay, so what I'm going to do from here is I am going to open up the club face. It's not going to be pointing dead square to the target. I am going to have it rotated slightly open. For me, I find that easier. All right, and it's also going to help us produce a little bit more loft on this shot. So definitely try and get used to this position if you can. All right, to know that you've got it at the right position, if my club face was dead square, that would be 90 degrees. I'm going to lay it open at around 45 degrees. From there, I've got my normal grip right at the top of the club. Don't go down the club. All right, the more and more you end up going down the club, the lower we get and the more you're just going to want to dig into it. So make sure hands right at the top of the club for me. Once you've got hands at the top, all right, we're going to make sure we've got plenty of room between the end of the club here and my legs. So I should be able to fit a good hand width in between these positions. Again, I see too many players. They're tucked up in here. It's not going to give you the room to swing, guys. Make sure you've got plenty of room, all right, in this position. From here, got a nice amount of knee flex, so I'm super soft from here. So our setup position from the face sign point of view, all right, I've actually got quite a nice big wide stance here. Again, you'll see a lot of the tour guys go nice and wide. We want to make sure we've got our ball position right up towards our front foot. So like a driver, all right, we're trying to create loft, all right, that's going to help us do that. Once I've got that ball position forward, I'm just going to push my shirt buttons, again, my center of gravity over towards my front side, spine angle to the left, whichever way you need to think of it. All right, just remember, we want to be over to this left side as we play this shot. Now, once I've got that face on position too, so I've got the ball position forward like I would have a driver, and again, I bang on about it all the time, we've got a center of gravity over towards our front foot. So once I've got that setup position, now, technique. This is the important part. Make sure you're listening to this. Too many players, they take the club way too much on the inside and that club is pointing behind them. This is bad. What you are going to do from there is you are going to hit the sand way too early by your back foot. No wonder that people keep struggling to get it out of the bunkers. All right, make sure we don't do that. So we are going to take the club straight back along this line and you can see how it's working upwards. All right. Now, you're probably going to think, oh my God, this is going to be way too steep. Don't worry about it. We will make this work. This is going to give us so much better contact. So stick with it. Don't be scared. So once I've got this club pushing along here and working its way up, we're now going to make sure that we're going to really get this body to work towards the target. I'm going to open up and then I'm going to make sure I've stood up really tall. You can see I'm not tipping into this ball. I'm not dipping. Again, another big problem we see a lot of the time. Even if they've got the backswing in the right place, we get this dip in with the knees. And what we're going to do, you've guessed it, we're going to hit the ball, or sorry, we're going to hit the sand way too early. All right, we need to make sure we keep the height. So we've got the club working back. I'm going to throw the club and I'm going to make sure I finish up nice and high in this position. Once we've got our weight over to the left side, again, we're making that club up our tour stick, up the ball to target line, and you can see I've still kept my weight over this front foot. Biggest problem I see all the time with the people I teach is as they take club back, we shift weight backwards, the club gets on the inside too much, and before you know it, boom, we're catching the ground way too much behind the ball. Or by the time they get back to the ball, we've caught it thin and you're over in the bushes the other side of the green. So make sure when we're in this setup position, we keep the weight over towards the front foot as the club goes back nice and sharp. Now, as we know, we're going to make sure we come down into that ball nice and steep. don't be afraid to hit lots of sand. Sand is good for us. We want to do it in a bunker. So don't be afraid of the sand. Hit that sand, and then we're going to make sure we get up nice and high in this finish. You can see how tall I am. Again, I'm not ducking down. I haven't got lean back. Make sure we hit sand and we're popping up nice and high into our finish. If we get that right, we produce that nice little high popped up shot, and all of a sudden your bunker play is going to make you really, really the envy of all your friends. So I've set myself up, going to make sure I get this club working out this way, and then I'm going to make sure I've hit sand up nice and tall. Okay, so that's popped up really nice and soft. I've given it quite a big swing, and now I've only got a couple of feet to go. So that goes to prove, being that steep and having that big swing, as long as I get that body coming up nice and tall through the ball, it can work for us. Oh, go in the hole. Oh, that was nice. All right, so make sure you've got all of those things in play. Thank you very much for watching my video, and please hit the subscribe button.